We finally got a kiss. We finally got a Ben Misty kiss.
What?
I kiss him.
When?
He's dead, and I turn his head towards me.
It's a very Misty
It
kiss.
is, you know.
That's hot stuff right there.
It was the crusty lips, the dirt, the blood. I didn't know where my wig ended and his beard began. Honey, I was all up in there.
When Ty finds out she has to be the one to kill Ben, she doesn't want to. That sounds hard and horrible.
I think at the end of the trial, I was like, okay, great, they found me guilty. What are they gonna do? Are they really gonna kill me? Like, that's insane. And then that moment, I'm like standing against the tree and there is a gun pointed at my head and it's like, oh, this is actually going to happen.
Travis, Lottie, and Akilah go through these really dark caves when Akilah has this vision.
So I stepped out and it was, oh, just God.
Well, Akilah had a vision in the cave.
As one does.
Of
one does.
using Ben as a bridge back to civilization.
Whatever the that means.
He's our bridge home.
So they sort of go careering into our planned execution of this man.
Because they're like, keep him alive, just, we still need him.
What the like, what actually just happened? Why? I almost think there's a little feeling of like, oh no, this might get worse now.
Maybe. Is that why you didn't say thank you?
Yeah, because it gets worse. It gets worse.
Well, we keep him around for a while, which is incredibly grim.
And I'm now, like, essentially being treated like an animal.
I'm sitting in here with the rest of the meat just waiting to be carved up.
Can we just do this already? Can we kill me? There is no reason for me to be alive, and I'm actually suffering like, on a daily basis.
The scene where we force feed you was the
brutal.
worst scene to shoot.
Oh my God, I can't
very
watch
grisly.
that.
It was the first point that I felt like the humanity of the Yellowjackets was kind of gone.
Yeah.
That's the first appearance, legibly, of like the masks from the sequence in the pilot.
Right.
So that is the first indication of like who is who.
Ooh, yeah.
Misty is investigating Lottie's death. She's collecting DNA evidence. She's been to the crime scene. She's been to Lottie's dad's apartment and investigated there. She broke up with Walter in episode 2, and now Walter's engaging in some post-separation abuse, tormenting her, thwarting her, joining up as friends with Shauna, who she's already had a huge falling out with.
First of all, when I read the script and I saw that there was a scene with Walter and Shauna and Misty, I put the script down and I ran and told my husband because I was so excited. I said, I'm gonna get to work with Elijah because he was there all last season and we love each other and we text like every single day. They are all there trying to solve Lottie's murder in different kind of ridiculous ways.
I can show you how I'm penetrating the system.
Oh, please don't use that word. Everyone's pretending to be someone they're not. Elijah and I are in costumes, which I think are adorable. It ends up being like a very heartbreaking sequence because Shauna finds herself alone with Mr. Matthews, with Lottie's father, who's really confused. There's definitely some shenanigans in that episode. It was really fun.
Natalie decides to mercy kill Ben because she sees him suffering and she sees how disgusting the girls are to him and how they aren't even treating him like a human being. It's really tough on Natalie, but ultimately she thinks it's the right thing to do. Shooting the mercy kill scene with Coach Ben was heartbreaking. Steven is like one of the kindest people and he's been around since the beginning, so doing that felt like I didn't have to do that much acting because I really just feel for him and he was so present and he's so fun to work with. So it was really hard, but satisfying as an actor.
That was a hard day. Just in general, I knew it was me and Steven's last scene together. Why am I gonna get emotional? He was like really my one-on-one partner for a long time, you know? And
we had some weird stuff together.
We did some weird things together, and it was a lot of like vulnerability stuff that we did together, and we've always gone through it with laughter and have a good time and trust, and we finally got a kiss. On the outside, I'm sure it's gonna be so creepy to watch, but in the moment, it felt so sweet.
Because Natalie has sort of like disobeyed the group, it's now up to someone else to take charge and to take lead. And I think because everyone is so scared of Shauna at this point, and because it's been kind of like leading up to that, and that's what Shauna's wanted, she sees it as a moment to take power.
Shauna will lead us.
Lottie sees it as strategically the right move to pass it on to Shauna, and I think she's quite happy with it, but it doesn't really happen the way it happened with Natalie. Like, it's not very much so of a group decision. I think it's led more by fear, which is not necessarily a good thing for the group.
You were there for the feast, but only from about here up.
Everyone kind of just sitting in a circle, kumbaya. And then Lottie screams out into the wilderness.
These sounds and these voices all kind of like, you know, helping us forward with like this thing that is definitely the Yellowjackets now, no longer feeling like they're doing anything for survival.
We are like doing cannibalism voluntarily, not because we're
not for
starving,
survival,
but because we decided to.
We start getting to like this dancing around the fire, eating Ben.
I'm not gonna lie to you, Steven. It was a little fun to shoot.
I bet it was. I hope it was. Yes.
But mainly because we got to like, I don't know, there was like this animalistic quality that was coming out of everyone, the screaming, the chanting.
And then we're interrupted by some newcomers.
Travis sees them and I see them, and it's this weird moment of like, what the heck are you doing here? What the f?
It was so exciting having people, like new people.
Poor people, they come in and we're like, hi.
I know, literally, we were like, new cast. This is like one of the only shows I've ever been on where you don't have like guest stars, and at least in our timeline.
We've been shooting this show for 2.5 years now without a single other cast member in our timeline. And so to have these new people in our space was almost like it felt invading in some capacity. Yeah,
cool.
it was a really cool moment to shoot.